Welcome to the 70213 Lakers podcast brought to you by Franchise Sports Media. I'm Joe Arrigo. With me today is Lakers lead beat writer for us, Isaiah Torres, Mike Dancy, Big Mike, and Kyle Randolph. And guys, so last time I was with y'all on the show, as we're live tonight on franchisesportsmedia.com, I told you I was worried, man. Lakers, man, are struggling to get into the bubble. Oh my God. And then they say, hold on, Joe. Let me holler at you for a minute.
Things changed.
I got you, pimping. We got this. LeBron said, look, they woke us up after game one, but now Lakers have a 3-1 lead. I'm pretty sure on Wednesday night they're gonna close it out. No Dame Lillard for sure for Portland. That's a huge blow. No, I don't think it's no problem at this point. I mean, look at yesterday. The Mamba, they're dripped out on Mamba Day. They came out with the Mamba mentality. And the Lakers, Kobe had his spirit, him and Gigi's spirit had to be there watching. Isaiah, looking at that game, and I kind of got misty-eyed when Anthony Davis went to the free throw line. It was 24-8. I took a picture of it, and I was like, damn, yeah, Kobe spirit's there, man. They went out there last night and did nothing but a pure drubbing of the Blazers from beginning to end. If the Lakers play like that, it's going to be hard to beat them at all going forward in the rest of the postseason.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant's birthday and then A24 Mama Day. I'm going to be real with you guys, man. For me, Mama Day is every day. But, I mean, if they want to give it a specific date, that's cool. But, I mean, on this side, every day is Mama Day. But they balled out, man. They came out, and those sweet black jerseys, man. I mean, they haven't worn them in like two seasons now. So to see them on the court again, it was nice. And 15-0 start to start the game. Never looked back. They never once lost a lead. And then the score is 24-8. After the game ended, LeBron said that when he noticed that, he said he definitely knew Kobe was in the building with them. That was a great way to honor him. They just blew him out, man. Everything was going great for them. I was watching it with a big smile on my face, honestly. Things just look really good right now. You mentioned they lose game one, and I was a little worried, because they were still not playing that great, and Portland was riding high on momentum. For them to get that wake up call, it was very necessary and needed. And honestly, I'm glad it did. I'm glad they got that wake-up call because since then, they've been right on track, and they just put a beating on Portland, and things are looking good going to Game 5. Unfortunately, we don't want any injuries on anyone, but Lillard is not going to play. It looks like they're going to get the job done on Wednesday night.
Yeah, one of the things that I noticed too, it just seemed like there's a different vibe with them. And those black uniforms, I'm going to say they need to put those in rotation. They need to put those in rotation every
clean.
The white, the Sunday whites are bomb. Yeah. The purple and the gold, but that black, you wear those black on specific games, and that's something that I hope Jeannie Buss and her team they do going forward. But for game 4, the complete dominance from tip off to the final buzzer. And I seen something last night that I was happy about. And you brought up with game 1, how they needed it. And I was worried. I had the APB out on the A seed, anybody but Portland. I'm very vocal about that because of the way they were playing. But then I thought about it, and I took this into consideration. Portland had to play the last 5 or 7 games in the bubble like it was a playoff game. At some point, that wears you down. At some point, you get tired. You get drained. You cannot keep that up. And I think it's maybe catching up with them a little. Well, the Lakers, albeit everybody, myself included, was worried going into the playoffs about, man, they're coasting. They haven't looked good. They've lost X amount of games. They lost 3 straight, lost 3 or 4, 3 of 5, really, or 4 or 5. Now I think about it. I was worried about that, but maybe that did them right because some of those guys on the bench now got some minutes. And, one thing, Mike, I seen last night is Danny Green starting to knock down shots. KCP's playing with fire. And hell, Deion Waiters looks good. And I was impressed last night with LeBron putting his arm around J.R. Smith, telling him to keep firing away. Like, that's leadership, Mike. What did you see in the last game that was so dominant for the Lakers that stood out to you, bro?
I seen their mentality. They came out focused. Like, they came out and blew Portland out of the water. Portland was everybody was just mad. Coach was mad. All the players just mad because they weren't. I don't think they were ready for it. Lakers came out and just got on their ass, like, off the rip. And that's what I like to. That's what I like to see as a Lakers fan. But also, that's what you want to see as a Lakers fan. And once they did that, that's what gave them that momentum to get everybody start hitting. Everybody like KCPC or LeBron's with it. Let me be with it, and he started hitting and everybody starts hitting. It's that chemistry, that mentality that you only get when you put your mind to something. And that's what the Lakers did yesterday.
What do you think, Kyle?
Number one thing I noticed, which a lot of people didn't really talk about, was their defense. Damian Lillard, even though his percentage wasn't bad, he only shot 7 times because in the first quarter he got smothered. He tried to go in the paint 3 times. One time he got blocked by AD pretty bad. Other 2 heavily contested. He just could not get it going. And that Portland team, nothing against them. They pretty good all around on offense, but once you stop Dame and you have LeBron James and AD on your team, there's no way the Lakers were going to lose that. They just weren't, especially with that. Even came off the bench, Kuzma, he was guarding Lillard for a bit too. And his defense, he was smothering him too. It was crazy. I don't know if the Lakers planned the switches or if it naturally happened, but AD was on Lillard so many times. And even though position-wise you wouldn't want that, it worked out for them really well.
2 things I noticed. One, Kuzma, he's really stepped up his defense in the postseason. He's done a really good job when he's on McCollum, when he's on Melo, and then even at Lillard in certain spots, his feet are moving. He's engaged on defense, which I think is translating to easy offensive buckets. And he's playing with, again, we talked about it a couple shows ago, play within the framework of the offense, you're going to get your points. And he's getting it by going to the rack, and then that's allowing him to get into a rhythm and hit his jumpers, shoot the 3 and whatnot. The other thing is, I'm going to go back to the pivotal point in this series actually is game 3. Game 1, Portland, let's be real. They beat the Lakers, who shot 5 from 32 from 3-point land. Lakers are still in it. Game 2, you knew the Lakers are going to come out upset. They're going to play with passion and with piss and vinegar. They come out there and beat the brakes off Portland. Game 3, Portland jumps out to that lead early in the first quarter, really the first half. And then you see the Lakers in the second half start to build up, and it's like, enough is enough. And they kind of said, we're controlling this series from there on out. And I think the pivotal point was when Dame Lillard in the third quarter on Saturday goes up and tries to bang out on AD, and he beats into the ground. Easy outlet pass for 2 points the other way. That was the tone setter. And at that point, I was almost Lakers saying enough is enough. We're emphatically going to end this series in the next 2 games because we're going to move on to our bigger goal. But Kuzma, the way he's played, everybody, I mean, really, I really don't have beat. I'm telling you the unsung hero, Isaiah, your guy, and you're a Mike's guy, Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's been playing some excellent basketball for the Lakers.
Points off the bench for him.
You start on Dwight Howard.
That's Mike's guy.
I mean,
but I'm telling you, y'all, like, Dwight Howard is a Hall of Famer, but I think he's first ballot too. People always shit on me because of this, but I'm so serious. Like, if you look at what he's able to do, like I always say this, look at his per 36. Go online right now, look at his per 36. If he played 36 minutes, he would be averaging like 14 points, 14 rebounds, some shit like that. It's not going to be that exactly. That's not what it's going to be exactly, but that's what that tells you that's what he's doing in like the 19 minutes he plays. So that's how impactful he is, and that's how good he is off the bench for the Lakers. And that's the main reason why they have the best front court. Like I wrote in my other article. You could check that out on franchisesportsmedia.com. But yeah, don't get me started on Dwight Howard. Anybody who says he's not a Hall of Famer, like, I'm gonna shit on you heavy. I'm sorry. I have to let you know.
I think it's not just numbers. It's what he does from a attitude standpoint. I mean, from game 1, he gets in the game and he instantly mixes it up with Hassan Whiteside. Just getting tangled up in the post, letting people know that this game is not still all about just 3-pointers. It's in the playoffs, things get a lot more intense and slow down a little bit. And in the post, in the front court, he's going to mix it up with you. He's going to get in your head and he's frustrated the Blazers throughout this series. I mean, Whiteside, especially yesterday. In Game 4 with Melo, he frustrated Melo, and I think Melo got a tech some point in the game as well. So I like what he does. He brings that attitude, and he does all the little things to help out. It's like I said, it's not just numbers. It's attitude, it's intensity, and it's something that the Lakers will need throughout the rest of the rounds, hopefully on the way to the championship.
What I look at with Whiteside, man, all I keep thinking about is he wants to go home to his little girlfriend, Ashley. Ashley's bad, too. So he wants to go back to his baby mama up in Portland because I wouldn't want to leave the bubble or go to the bubble and leave her there. That's for sure. I'm being honest. Like I keep thinking about with him when they talk about what's he thinking? He wants to go home to Ashley. You know, but that's just, you know, me trying to be a smart ass, which I'm not good at. Anyway, we talked at the top of the show about the injuries a little bit. Obviously Damian Lillard's out for Game 5, and it's gonna be tough for Portland to even get to Game 6 without him. He can't straighten out his leg, according to Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports.
Oh, it looked bad.
Yeah, and anytime he comes out of a game and can't go back in immediately, you know, that's not his mentality. Anthony Davis, he's emphatically said he's fine. And you know what? Having him not play the last quarter and a half is a good thing. Again, you're saving some legs. Back spasms or not. You know, I'm glad they kept LeBron in a little bit longer to kind of ensure everything. But for the most part, you know, I was happy about that. Rondo's, I think, is going to be a game time decision. In fact, at this point, I would let him rest. You know, let's not rush him back. He could be a guy that quite honestly could be key in the next series, especially if it's the Thunder, which I would love to see. And then Zach Collins, he's not going to play it all in the play. So eventually it's Anthony Davis coming back. Everybody else is probably not going to play in Game 5 or shouldn't play in Game 5. You got to like that for the Lakers.
Yeah, you got to. You have to.
It seems like they have this thing. Every time I make claims that should be common sense, they end up being wrong somehow. But they really should not lose next game. This should be it. They just blew out the Blazers. Lillard's tragically out. Collins he announced he's not coming back. There's no reason they should lose this. They're even on a shooting spree. But even then, if they shoot like they did in Game 1, which is rarely ever happens, they shot 15% from 3. There's still no Lillard. They still barely lost that game. They lost that game by what, 6, 7?
Yep.
So without Damian Lillard, I don't see him putting up that many points if the Lakers play at their absolute worst and really shoot 15% from 3 again, which it ain't happening.
Go ahead, Mike.
But yeah, like I was saying, it's good for you when you can rest your stars like after like pretty much for the majority of the fourth quarter. That's what you want to do. But I think Rondo should play because Rondo hasn't played. So I mean, you could play him, maybe not a lot, just a little bit, just to get him to knock some rust off because you know he's going to be a little bit rusty. Practice ain't the game. So I think they should play Rondo a little bit. And but I really don't see them having a problem winning this game. Like, this is going to be it, and they're going to be on to the second round. And if they do face the Thunder, I would like to see that. And I think the Thunder will cause there'll be a tougher opponent than Houston and Portland.
You know, I like what you said about Rondo possibly getting some playing time in Game 5. I do see what you're saying. I thought about that too, though. Honestly, I did. I was thinking like maybe, you know, he is going to be rusty. Like you said, game shape is different than working out and practicing and whatnot. But I mean, at the end of the day, do they really need him on the court? No, they don't. So at the end of the day, if I had to pick one decision, I would have him just sit out.
He had back spasms. Now,
Rondo as well.
Yeah, if y'all didn't see that, it's not just his hand now. He had back spasms.
It's been his back spasms, yeah.
So I would just sit him out. Sit him out then. Sit him out. But yeah, no, you guys are definitely right. Game 5, no Lillard. We all know Zach Collins is out for the rest of the season too. It looks like all they need to do is just put their mind to it one more time, and it won't be too difficult. I do like to say don't sleep on CJ as well. But I know he does have, you know, slightly fractured back, so he's not at full strength as well. But yeah, I do like what you said about that, Mike. Though at first I would maybe want to see Rondo mix it up a little bit, but it's probably safe just to sit him out. Just have him be rested and ready for the next round.
I'd rather have him rested and ready because I think that Thunder Rocket series is going 7. And that's going to give them some more time to rest. And I want to see him and Chris Paul go toe to toe once again. I want to see that. That's what I want to see next round, Mike.
If it happens next round, Chris Paul will be ejected from one game. One of them two going to be ejected from one of the games.
I like that prediction.
Right now. Like,
I'm with you.
Happen.
It's
not a prediction.
Paul.
Like
it's gonna be Chris Paul.
I can see the future in his head, bro. I'm telling you right now, that's what's gonna happen. Hands are gonna be thrown. But it's gonna be interesting though.
I would love to see that because I think Rondo's even kind of preparing for playoff Rondo's different than regular season Rondo. He'll play better defense, and he already is a damn good defender, but he's gonna play a lot better defense. He's gonna turn around, and I think what he's going to do is open up the offense the way he's able to get to the lane and distribute the ball when he has it in his hands coming off the bench. And that's going to take some pressure off LeBron too, playing so many minutes, in all honesty, because trying to lead that second unit, because you really don't have it. Caruso's there. He's not a true point guard. He's more like a combo guard. So with Caruso, it's kind of like, okay, you still got to have somebody bring it up. And that's Rondo to a T. Who do you guys want to see the Lakers play in the second round? Assuming let's just assume that they're going to knock Portland out tomorrow night in advance.
I'd have to say for the Lakers' perspective, it'd have to be the Thunder. Even though they are coming out of nowhere, they're a lot better than everybody thought. Chris Paul's talented. It's just, I know I always play the name game, and it's not always about that in basketball because D'Antoni's not a great coach and their system's not really good, but just you'd rather face Chris Paul and the Thunder than face, because he'll be okay by that second series if they make it, Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Even though Harden has playoff troubles, you just would. I say the bigger names show up more in the playoffs and the role players tend to lower it down a bit. So you'd rather, as the Lakers, you'd rather face the Thunder. And it doesn't mean much, especially one of those games where they rested LeBron, but the Lakers had a losing record against the Rockets in the regular season too. Not really a big deal, but if you had to choose one,
Mike's over there disagreeing with you.
Hell no. If I'm the Lakers, I want to see Houston. Like, I really want to see Houston. They have no bigs. They have no bigs. I don't care. You have Anthony Davis. You have Anthony Davis. You have JaVale McGee. You have just the centers, JaVale McGee, and you have Dwight Howard. You're not getting any rebounds. If the only way the Rockets can beat the Lakers is if they hit all their threes. The Lakers can D up. Lakers can clamp up their three. Then what? You gonna drive inside? Who gonna be there? JaVale gonna be there.
They don't get rebounds. It won't matter.
So
that doesn't matter.
That's why they lose. That's why they're losing right now. They could have beat the Thunder, but what happened? They came back. And Harden's been going off. I don't care if Westbrook is there too. I don't care who they have. Like I'm so serious. I don't care who they have. The Lakers front court is so good and so dominant. When it comes down to it in the playoffs, they're gonna out rebound. They're gonna body people, and the Rockets won't be able to get rebounds. And usually the story's always been told. If you lose the rebound game, you're most likely going to lose the game.
The Rockets' pure strategy is
who's going to hold
every game.
Who's going to hold LeBron?
It don't matter. That their whole strategy isn't about rebounds or holding people. Their whole D'Antoni strategy is chucking threes and say whatever you will. It's never going to win them a championship, as I wrote an article about that. But they compete. They hit, even though it was with Chris Paul and it was different, they hit Game 7 in the conference. It's because all they do is chuck threes. They never can guard people. They couldn't guard KD back then, even though they had Arizo who was solid. They don't guard people. They don't get rebounds. They chuck threes, and that's their strategy. But you'd rather face that.
And that's why they're going to lose. That's why they're going to lose.
Both teams
I'd rather face that. I'd rather face that than the Thunder, because the Thunder are more well-rounded, more of a defensive-minded team. And it's not just one person. It's not just one or two people doing the majority of the scoring. Everybody gets their little piece in, and then Chris Paul is a distributor first before anything else. So he's going to try to find other people, and other players are going to be involved. So you can't just clamp down on James Harden and clamp down on James Harden and force him to do everything. And that's what the Rockets want to do. And that's also like the worst thing you could do. Because once he has the ball, if he's not making shots, he's going to be cold. Break. That's what you want. And you can't do that with the Thunder because Chris Paul's not going to look to shoot all the time. So if I'm Lakers, I want Houston. I want Houston, and they'll beat Houston in like 5 or 6.
Isaiah, what you saying?
Man, Mike has me sold. When you first asked the question, I was thinking I want to face OKC because they're maybe less proven. They're younger, and I mean, in my opinion, Chris Paul's like the biggest choke artist in playoffs ever. So I was like, I'd rather face OKC. But Mike is selling me on Houston now. I think I'd rather face Houston because he does have a good point. They don't have a really true big man. While the Lakers have AD, Dwight Howard, and JaVale McGee, that's easy money.
Tyson Chandler, who hasn't really played like barely any minutes, that's
funny. That's funny because I keep forgetting Chandler's on Houston's roster. Like they haven't.
Well, you can forget Chandler's even in the league. Like you can forget he was in the league. Like that's how much he barely plays.
He doesn't even play on that team. That's why I say. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, because the Lakers do have really good defense, and they're really stepping it up again right now. I mean, and I know a lot of people were giving them trouble. A lot of people were giving them trouble because they weren't shooting that good. But Danny Green and KCP were still on the floor because of their defense. And now they're doing both again, so it's all working out. But, you got Danny Green, KCP, LeBron, all great defender. AD, who just took second place in Defensive Player of the Year to Giannis, but he's a great defensive player. Like you said earlier, Kuzma stepping up. When you do all that, and then you're going to have James Harden, who might go cold, you're right. It's going to be Brick City over there. And I don't know what Westbrook's going to do. I don't know if he's going to play. But you sold me. I'm with Mike. I'm rather play against Houston.
See,
you sold me.
I don't. God, why do you guys make me be the voice of reason? That's not my role in this show. I'm the illogical one. All right, but let me. I think either way, the Lakers are set up fine because it's a revenge tour. When it comes to the Thunder. It's the bounce your banana boat buddy out of the playoffs. He'll bounce Carmelo, and they'll bounce Chris Paul. The banana boat crew is getting bounced. Okay. Now, when it comes to the Rockets or the pocket Rockets or the vibrators, as I like to call them. Okay. So Mike Antoni's team, there's no D in his name. It's payback for the guy that quit on them. It's payback for a coach that left there unceremoniously, that left there because he felt that the organization and the team couldn't win and he was no good to him, and he wanted to go somewhere where he can continue to pad his coaching record to try and get into the Naismith Hall of Fame. And with a system that I hate D'Antoni. I loathe him almost as much as any coach in the league. But I don't know who I'd rather play. Mike kind of has me leaning towards Houston because they are smaller, because you can use your size. And when the Lakers go small, you got AD at the 5, Kuzma at the 4, LeBron at the 3, and then you have KCP and whomever you running at the 2 guard spots or the wing spots. That's going to be tough to match up against. And the other thing about the Thunder is this, and Isaiah, you said they're young. When I was young, I had no fear of anybody. I didn't. I was literally like, "Oh, you're 6'2". Yeah, square up, let's roll." Where, like, as you're older, you're like, "Damn, okay, he got reach. He been in the gym a lot more. He's stronger than me." There was kind of like, basically, logic starts to set in. And with Houston, I think they're like, "Damn. We gotta play old ass Tyson Chandler."
They won't.
Like he's like the Jack Haley of centers in the NBA now, like the towel waver. That's all he does over there. So
he gave millions of dollars to do it though.
I would love shit. I'll do it.
Hey,
so go ahead.
I was gonna say he never played. He liked a Jared Dudley, who actually got to play the other game. I never saw that guy play once you guys signed him until yesterday.
Nah. You know what? I like Dudley's signing. Dudley brings a veteran presence,
It
like
was a good
another veteran,
signing.
and it's a complete basketball mind. And he's the guy that helps the young guys remain engaged. And honestly, if I need to have somebody go out and whoop somebody's ass, Dudley will go out there and do it. And if you lose him for a game or two, who
It's Jared
cares?
Dudley.
Because he's not gonna. He wasn't playing that much anyway.
He's
and
that guy. He's that guy.
The role, yeah.
But
Isaiah's
my
shaking
point
his head.
for the Rockets,
I don't like
I have
Dudley.
a simple view on things. My simple view of it is, and I know there's more to this, it's like matchups and stuff. The Rockets, statistically, before you guys freak out, even though they are ice cold, inconsistent, they're statistically better 3-point shooters than the Lakers. The Lakers,
Everybody
even though,
is. The whole league is. That's not saying much.
okay, so they got that. They still lose 4-1. The Thunder, statistically, even though they're a lot closer in other categories, they don't beat the Lakers in anything. They're worse at scoring. They're worse at even consistency. They're worse at defense. The Rockets at least have 3-pointers to win one game.
Wait, you say they're worse than the Rockets at defense?
No, I was saying the Thunder are worse than the Lakers in every category.
But
The Houston Rockets have one category on the Lakers. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That one game. The 4-1 series.
So what
Bro,
you guys are?
I'm not even.
Oh, go ahead, Mikey.
I'm not even looking at numbers. I'm looking more of like I'm looking at just the team and the way they play. Kyle, you know I'm a Rockets fan, so you know I watch the games, bro. I'm telling you, like
I do too.
I want the Rockets because even if you can shut down Harden or get Harden, like no. Let me say this: when the Rockets was in the playoffs last time, whenever they had Chris Paul, before whenever he got hurt against the Warriors. Like I always say, first half James Harden went. In the second half, James Harden ran out of gas. Who was there to save his ass? Chris Paul was there to save his ass.
Now there's going to be
With
Russell
his
Westbrook.
shooting and stuff like that. Westbrook can't shoot. That's what's going to be the difference.
That's not his role. That's not his role. His role is to drive in the paint, draw fouls, or either kick it out, which obviously he's not going to score with AD in there, so he's either going to draw fouls or he's going to kick it out. PJ Tucker's going to outspeed JaVale. They're going to chuck up a three and miss the majority of the time, but still get some on the board and win one game.
That's what I'm saying.
Thunder, I don't think they could do anything. I don't think CP is going to score that much against them. They have ball movement, team chemistry, but I don't think it'll matter in the end of the day. I think the Rockets' chuck 3-point strategies is more likely to win a game against the Lakers than the Thunder's team chemistry based with less overall talent strategy.
I don't know. We just gonna have to see.
Okay, so Kyle, you said you'd rather play against Oklahoma. Mike, you're saying Houston. I'm going Houston too. So you, if it is against Oklahoma, Kyle, do you have the Lakers sweeping them, or is it a 4-1? Or
okay, I don't know if I bet on it, but the Rockets are more likely to win one game than the Thunder. If I had to choose one team to get swept against the Lakers, it'd be the Thunder. If that makes sense. Like I wouldn't bet on it because I'd never bet on a sweep in my life, no matter how the odds are or what the teams. But that'd be the team. I choose the Thunder to get swept by the Lakers. Rockets, I do not think they get swept by the Lakers. I really don't. They win at least one.
See,
go ahead.
I said I think it's a complete opposite. I think the Thunder will be like 5 or I think the Thunder will be like 6 games. I think the Thunder will be 6 games because I think the Thunder are underrated, and I think that they're a better team than people give them credit for. And I feel like if they beat the Rockets in this series and they go against the Lakers, you will see why they beat Houston and why they're in the second round of the playoffs. Like they're better than people think they are, and I think they're going to be an issue.
I wanted to ask Joe because I wasn't sure if I heard him right earlier. You said that if they played against the Thunder in the second round, it would go 7 games.
No, I'm talking. No. I'm saying I think the Rockets and Thunder are going 7 games.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's why I wasn't sure if I heard that right.
No, hell no.
Okay.
I don't look. If the Lakers play the way they're capable, the way they play the last 3 games, okay. I think the only team that gives them any type of trouble is Dallas. not the Clippers, because I think the Clippers are flawed fundamentally. No big man. Zubac is playing like a hoe. Montrezl Harrell isn't in shape. Like, let's be real about it. Okay, you got PG 3 for 13 who's playing like he's rated G right now, or NC 17 because of how bad he's playing. Go ahead and turn your mentions back on, bruh. You don't got the Mamba mentality, Paul George. Keep your ass in red, white, and blue down the hallway. Got to get out the first round. The Clippers, to me, are a team that feels entitled, like they've already won something when they haven't won anything. Like Kawhi won, Kawhi's got a ring. Who else has a ring there? Doc got it with Boston.
You got two of them.
No, Kawhi. I'm saying, but who has rings? Is what I'm saying. Like Kawhi.
No, it's just him. I'm pretty sure he's the only one that has one.
Yeah. So not, when I look at the Clippers, I'm not as worried as about the Clippers, and I haven't been. I've been calling the Clippers frauds from day one. You know, I've said that's the team I'm not worried about. Kyle got all up in arms when I said that. What? The Clippers, they have XYZ elemental P1, 2, 3, ABC. And it's like, no, like you look at, they're not built for the playoffs. The playoffs are, you know, they got too many guys that want to be ball dominant, that want to ISO. And that's not how you win titles. You gotta run some sets. The Lakers ran something out of a set yesterday that it was early in the first quarter. It was Caruso came down, not early, but Caruso came down, called a timeout, and Portland was bitching about something. And they came out the set, and whatever Vogel called, it was ran to perfection. I was like, damn, like that's a hell of a play right there to come out of a timeout and to run. The Clippers don't do that. To me, Dallas, and a lot of it has to do with Luka Doncic. Like, dude's a savage. And he basically last game, I mean, yeah, it's more than one, but he put the team on his back in the fourth quarter in overtime and beat the Clippers. You know, the Clippers are struggling with them, and they've had KP Porzingis for one game in a couple quarters. Like, come on now. The Clippers are struggling, and I don't know if the Clippers get by them. And you look at tonight's game, you know, Denver and Utah. Denver was the other team I was kind of worried about, but they were getting boat raced, and then this whole series getting boat raced by Utah. Yep. So Dallas is the one team that really, like, for me, has me a little when it comes to who the Lakers could potentially play down the road. Not Houston or the Thunder. Please.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I was like Kyle earlier in the season. I was fearful of the Clippers. I was really confident in their team. But I think what happened was when they came into the bubble, and we discussed it a few weeks back, Harrell was gone, Lou Will was gone, Pat Bev was gone. It was starting to really mess things up. Like, mind you, everyone was off of their momentum because they had to be out for 4 or 5 months.
They barely played with each other initially.
And when you come back into the bubble, and then you have 3 key players who are gone, or even Zubac was gone too, it really is going to slow you down. So that's why I feel like right now they're really sluggish, man. And that's why they really look like they're in danger with Dallas. So I was wrong on that one. I didn't really see obviously nobody saw this coming where we're going to be gone for 4 months and then they're going to, like, nobody saw all this happening. But yeah, they really seem to be in some trouble. And honestly, I agree with you. I was big on Denver. I mean, you know, Michael Porter Jr., I'm really big on him. But Denver, the weird thing about Utah is in the past 3 seasons, 3 or 4, they look crazy good in the first round of the playoffs. I don't know what it is, but every time in the first round, like, Donovan Mitchell is just a boss, and they kill it. And then what happens is, because they're not that next level yet, they eventually get back down to earth in the second round. They added Mike Conley this season. We'll see how much he really helps them. I know he's come back.
He's been struggling this season for some reason.
But I mean,
and he lives in Utah now. I'd struggle to do anything in Utah. Okay?
Utah, hey, same here. But
shout out to my guys, Dirty Dave and DJ Handsome Hands in Utah, though.
My mom always want to go there on vacation. I'm like, what's there to do there? I ain't going.
I'll go vacation there. I'd go ski or go to a lake or something. But as far as playing there, I'm sorry for interrupting. I said, no way in hell.
No, you're good.
I'm just messing. I have nothing against Utah.
No, I mean I don't really care for Utah, but basically, yeah, I agree with you. I think Dallas is the only threat, maybe just because Luka. But I mean, if I'm being really really serious, even they're not a serious threat to the Lakers because the way they're playing right now, they look pretty damn good.
What you think, Big Mike?
I think as far as like the Lakers, the reason why I said maybe the Thunder will give them a little more issues in Houston is because like I'm assuming that the Lakers have a few more games like they did before they started playing now. Like they're gonna struggle a little bit. I don't expect them to get on a roll and completely just play at their best every single game. I expect there to be some games where players are off because that's what's been happening. So if the Lakers put like this, if the Lakers can stay on their shit, they can sweep everybody and go to the and they can get to the finals. But most likely that's not going to happen. But I think they'll play enough good games to get by everybody, especially with LeBron. Like if anybody's gonna do anything, it's gonna be LeBron James. LeBron James has been passive a lot, and these past few games, he started being aggressive. Like I was talking to one of my homies the other day, and I was like, man, I don't know if LeBron could get by people like he used to because he's like passive or whatever. Then the next day he goes and drops 38, and I'm like, well, damn, I was wrong. You know, it's like that just shows you how his mentality is, how he's able to just, okay, I need to stop passing, I need to get greasy. He's in there, he's on that, you know. And with that mentality and the teammates around him, they've been trained to follow his lead. If he gets aggressive and he start acting up, then everybody else gonna act up, and that's gonna be a problem. So it's just, will they do that every game? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, game one was just a slap. It was just a wake-up slap to the Lakers. Got them a bit. Some people got scared. I didn't get scared for them, really. I thought they were going to be okay. I know Joe was a little concerned, but
I was worried. For sure.
Because LeBron didn't even though he did good, he didn't take over. Then he was like, okay, it's wake-up time, and now it's just now Portland's done.
So, a team that we talked briefly about the Mavs in their series with the Clips, but then you had the 76ers who get swept. They fire Brent Brown. Look, I'm gonna say this: that team needs to be blown up. The process ran its course, and it goes to show you that Jimmy Butler was 100% right about that team and that organization. And you look. Let's be real. Look at the Bulls. He wanted to leave the Bulls because they were a shit show. He goes to Minnesota. They're a clown show. From there, he goes to Philly. He says they're a hot mess, and he goes to where there's stability, and there's guys that put basketball first, and guys that respect the head coaches, and guys that aren't on social media trying to beg for dates with a thought named Rihanna. So when you have all of those things in play, oh yeah, look like that all you want because she's a thought. So what? I said it. I stand by it. Allegedly, whatever.
Oh, you're talking about Embiid. You're talking about Embiid.
Yeah, I'm talking about Embiid. Yeah, like you got a guy who I've hit more 3-pointers in the NBA probably up until this season than Ben Simmons. I think we all have. So I mean, you look at the organizations. Jimmy Butler was right, and I don't know, guys. That Philly team could be blown up.
Oh, yeah. Man, they got to do something because Simmons and Embiid, at first I was hyped about the process. I saw a bright future, but it's what you said, that organization and what Jimmy said too. Everything's just wrong with it. They don't know what they're doing. Hinkie knew what he was doing. Imagine he lost a job for this. And they get swept in the first round, which is tragic for him. It feels bad. But their players don't fit together. They actually have talent for the first time in a long time. They build up the talent. They don't have a shooter in their lineup. They have nobody to take the ball in the fourth. They had Jimmy, but you saw what happened there. It's just they have no clear system. These players don't gel. And it's crazy because you name these players, even though Ben was hurt, they have Joel Embiid, Al Horford, Tobias Harris. Those three names should not get swept. It doesn't matter if they don't fit. There's no shooter. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're getting swept with those guys, it goes beyond the players, even though I do think it's the players. Simmons and Embiid both haven't improved, which I was high on Ben Simmons, so that kind of pisses me off. And I know he is hurt this year, but their player's not improving. Their system's all messed up. They don't have anybody to shoot the ball. And Jimmy Butler called them out, and he was right. They don't have anything going on, and I don't think the Sixers know what they're gonna do. They fire Brett Brown. I don't think anything's good in that organization. Their front office, I know their health staff had players play insanely injured. Markelle Fultz wasn't the greatest, but I know.
I'm glad you said Fultz. Just put this in. They traded up for the number 1 pick, correct? They traded up for
Jason Tatum
and pass on Jason Tatum for Markelle Fultz because Jason Tatum couldn't shoot.
It's ironic. It's really ironic. So yeah, sorry if my rant was too long and I stretched out, but that's my point. Nowhere the players, the coaches, the system, the office, the draft picks, they just don't know what they're doing.
Bro, Elton Brand, man. Elton Brand, like, come on, dog.
Oh God,
Sixers for a minute, man. You know that everybody love you in Philly, bro. But come on now, you spent $300 million on Tobias Harris and Al Horford, old ass. Like, really? Like, that's a waste of money.
Al.
Like, old ass Al, like Uncle Al. No, like that sounds like somebody's grandpa, bro. Like the dude that's in the back stacking dominoes at the family get together.
Hey, Mike,
like,
bring me that Hennessy, homie. I need my yak to smack your daddy again.
Hey, no, for real though. Like you have to give it to Tobias Harris and Al Horford's agents. Like they pulled the heist of the century. 300, really. They spent all that. Tobias Harris is a B player, not even B plus. Like he's a B player, bro. When you need Tobias Harris to score 20, he'll score 20. When you need him to score 30, he'll score 15. Like that's what you get from Tobias Harris. I don't like him. I don't know why they signed him. I don't like him. Like that, I wouldn't have spent like max money or as much as they did on him. And for Al Horford. I didn't think he should leave Boston, but I mean, when you get a contract offer like that, you better take that. Go ahead, Joe.
I really, I really don't know what to say. I mean, you guys said it all. I'll just give it to you like this. I was excited about them, Embiid and Simmons. But we've seen them 3 years in a row now where they just plateau. Right, like I know I was watching it, and Shaq and Charles and Kenny, they were talking about how the past 2-3 seasons the talk was, will Simmons knock down the consistent jumper? Will he be able to shoot this season? And it basically, that's the issue. Is he's just plateaued. He hasn't really improved. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I love watching him play. He's exciting from a dishing standpoint. He can throw the hammer down every once in a while, but as far as shooting goes, he's just plateaued as a player. And Embiid, I feel bad. That dude was left by himself pretty much, doing 30 points and everything. Honestly, though, I'll put it like this. Their best chance was last season. They had Jimmy Butler, who was a proven clutch player, someone who you could trust and give the ball to in the closing moments. And they had a great shooter who can knock down consistently in JJ Redick. And they let both of them go in the offseason. And that's where they messed up. They messed up in doing that.
They left Dario, right?
Dario Saric, I remember him too.
All their shooters. Sorry, go.
No, you're right. It's a good point. They let him go too. He even though he was a small name compared to all the other guys on the team, he played good when it mattered. I wrote about it in the past too. Game 7, Eastern Conference, second round. If Kawhi Leonard doesn't knock down that shot, I really thought that Philly in overtime, they win the game because leading up to that shot by Kawhi, Jimmy had just scored like 3 straight buckets, and he was not getting stopped. I really think they go to overtime. Philly wins that game. They win the series, and the whole basketball season is different right now. But hey, things happen for a reason. Ultimately, I just put it at that. They messed up. Their best chance was last season. They took a step back this year, and we'll see where they go from here. But yeah, if I think they keep this team for another season and if things don't really work out, then they're gonna blow it up.
Hell no, they need to blow that. They need to blow that up right now.
I don't know if they will, bro.
That shit
I
up
don't,
right
I don't think they will,
bro. Hey,
they
homie, trade Ben Simmons right now. Trade
They love
him.
both. They love Embiid and Simmons too much. I don't think they'll blow it up yet.
Trade him to Golden State for the number 2 pick and draft LaMelo.
Well, I want.
That's what I was
ask
like.
you.
That's what I'm thinking. Do something like that.
I wanted to ask you that because you brought up Minnesota. You brought up Minnesota. I was going to ask you. What do you guys think now that we know the draft lottery order? Where do you think happens? Who do you think Minnesota takes in the first pick?
Green, like he Green. He's to me. If thgoing to go big because they got Cat. So you're not gonna. So go get Green. You got your wing. You got D'Angelo. You have a dynamic backcourt with the big. The kid his shooting's going to improve. If it puts you would think the guy, he's a led all freshman in scoring last year at Georgia. You think he's only going to get better. I think it get interesting. I think Golden State makes it interesting because I think they trade the pick. I don't think Golden State keeps the pick. And I'm going to tell you the Knicks are the team to watch because they can take some bad contracts. They can move some pieces. They have a lot of cap room, but they need to make a splash, and they would love to get their hands on Melo. And then Michael Jordan could get Wiseman at 3 or Obi at 3. If Wiseman goes 2, Jordan gets a athletic big, either one athletic bigs to go when he was athletic with their team. But Minnesota, I don't see who are they going to trade for? Because you look at guys that are going to be on the block. I mean, okay, AD's not going to go there. Giannis is going to stay. He's going to re-up with Milwaukee, no matter what. The rumor, Golden State fans have their Viagra pill popped extra. They got like 6 of them popping. We'll trade number 2 and Wiggins for Giannis. No, that's not going to happen.
They're on crack over there, bro.
Not that stupid. Yeah. So when you look at it, who are you going to deal for? I mean, you're not trading to Boston because Tatum's not going to go there. You know what I mean? So for Minnesota, I don't know. To me, I don't think it's really a question. You got to take Green. What do you think, Kyle? I mean, am I nuts for thinking that?
When you say Green, do you mean Anthony Edwards or
Edwards? Yeah, the kid from Georgia.
Okay.
I don't know why I kept calling him
confused.
No, my bad.
You kept saying Green, but then you mentioned Georgia, so I was like, I think he's talking about Anthony Edwards.
I was thinking about Green on the Clippers and how he's just a bum, but I mean, my bad.
I was confused. I was like, it has to be
Anthony Edwards. I'm talking about Mother Goose, baby.
And then you were talking, you're like, and there's no other choice. In my head, I was just like, what? But yeah, I mean, I don't want to just keep it short because we usually have some good debates, but I have to agree, and there's not really any arguments. Exactly how you said it. I don't think the Philadelphia 76ers are going to do it, but Embiid to the Warriors for that pick, that's great. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Bro, don't trade Embiid.
I think Simmons is great. I think Simmons
can't shoot. Embiid can shoot, and he's a center.
He's a great natural point guard, though. A player like Embiid, even though he is great, he was 3rd MVP for a bit in the season. He's not that rare. And I'm not saying Simmons is that rare, but he's one of the best natural point guards there is. He just can't improve. But he is. That's what you need to run the offense, and then you get shooters around that. You could build around Simmons a lot easier than you can build around Embiid. No offense, because I like him, his soft ass.
I think
he cursed. Oh my God, he cursed again.
But look, I think I think the Warriors, if they traded for if they got Ben Simmons, I think that would be better for them because look, now they have Ben Simmons. They have somebody, so you can take Steph Curry off the ball. Then that's a problem. You got Curry and Klay Thompson running around the court. And see, that's what was happening when they had KD. KD was a shooter, but he had the ball. He had the ball that allowed Curry and Klay to run around. You can stop one of them, but you can't stop them both. You got both of them running around, and then and then you have him slashing inside. They run a small ball lineup. Who knows who can play that power forward. They put him on that center. Draymond's overrated, but he's still a solid player. I think that would help them. So like, I think they should look into that. But I don't know I don't know. I don't like Simmons anyway. So,
and I think he's one of the best natural point guards here. He just can't shoot. I mean,
that's the problem.
Let me word it like this: he's not like an absolute best talent in the league, but I don't know how else to word. He's a rare breed. I feel like Embiid can be mocked by many other centers to an extent. They're not going to put up the same numbers he will, but I feel like he could be mocked to an extent. He's not that great. But Simmons his passing ability,
I think so, yeah.
His passing ability, how he is a rare breed.
So there's Lonzo Ball. There's LaMelo Ball coming in.
Lonzo's nowhere near as good as Simmons.
What I say. I'm pointing out you said a rare breed. I'm talking about guys that his size. LeBron's
Rondo Ball.
Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball 6'7", LeBron 6'9", LaMelo 6'7". I'll bet you lunch right now.
Trust me, he's 6'7", man. I met Melo, and as him being 5 years younger than me, I felt embarrassed to look up at him when I was talking to him. That dude's 6'7".
I'm not saying he's gonna be worse. I'm just saying I think they play a different kind of style.
But my point is, your point was that Ben Simmons is like one of a kind, like he's an anomaly. When in all actuality, there's plenty of guards that are combo guards now that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", that are in the league that can bring the ball up and make passes. Ben Simmons has got some hype because of AAU. Ben Simmons has got some hype because he has Clutch Sports behind him. Let's be real about this. If we're going to be really real about it, let's be really real about it. He has LeBron having his back. He's not some special God's gifted guy. He's a great passer, but he doesn't play defense. He can't shoot. So you're a guy that can bring the ball up with your left hand and you can pass the ball, but you don't play defense. You don't shoot.
He's a good scorer too, though. You got to remember that. Don't matter if he can't shoot. He's a good scorer.
Everybody in the NBA can score.
58% is pretty good for a point guard. I don't care if he ain't shooting 58%. Yeah.
I will say this, like Joe said, big point guards. Like I'm sure that's probably going to be the norm. Like it's going to become the norm. That's what the league is heading to. Tall point guards. But what the league is leaving is big men. You don't have a lot of big men, at least not as like it used to. Like people in Embiid size, there's not many centers that are most centers are like Willie Cauley-Stein. They're tall and they're tall and skinny. They don't have a lot of muscle on them or just body, just pounds, period. When you have Embiid who can be such a dominant force inside, I would take that over a point guard who can't shoot. Because point guard, a point guard is not necessary. It's not as much facilitating. You don't really. That's not what they need right now. I think they just need to find what they want and build around that. And I think I would rather build around the center because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but while the rest of the league is going small, I would be the one team that would have the dominant big that nobody else, that rarely any other teams have. That way you have a weapon that they don't have the people to stop.
I just say, I mean, regardless of Joe thinking they're not rare, that's up for debate. It's a lot easier to build around a point guard that's like that than it is to build around a center.
Johnson. No, but here's the thing: teams that build around point guards without big men don't win titles.
They don't.
You could pick one up. Look at the free agents.
Maybe the Bulls, but they didn't win a title without a dominant power forward and a center that can board and play defense. They had Luke Longley, Bill Winnington, Bill Cartwright. They had Jordan. They didn't have a point guard though. That's like the one anomaly. But you look at those Rockets teams, Olajuwon. And then you had the anomaly with the Warriors. But even at that, they had big men. They haven't won. They didn't win a title without JaVale McGee. Am I correct? And they had Andrew Bogut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did have Bogut. They had Bogut.
So I mean, if you look at it, the big men are what make. And as a guy that played point guard, that's why I'm just not gonna play because I'm so freaking small. It literally. It mind boggles me, but look at the Warriors prior to that when Monte Harris and was it Curry? No, yeah, Curry. That didn't work. Or no, it was Monte Harris and Curry's Monte Harris.
Monte Ellis.
Yeah, Monte Ellis. Yeah, like that didn't work. They shipped one of them out. You got to have a big man no matter what. And
you need one, but like, should he be the leader? Should he be the best player on your team though?
Embiid's not a leader though. Let's be real. Embiid is a clout chaser.
Who do you get with him then? If you think you could, because Ben Simmons, say whatever you will, I think you could get you could build your team however you want. If he's your point, you could build it shooters. You could have everybody else catching.
You need to build it with shooters with Simmons, I would say, but with Embiid, you have more flexibility. With Simmons, you have to get suitors. With Embiid, you have more flexibility to build a roster around him. And Embiid's the one, honestly, like real talk, Embiid's got more value than Simmons. Embiid has remained healthy, and he's been healthy.
Health's a factor, but
for both of them,
it's on ball and off ball. Like if you build around, let's say you build around Embiid. Let's say they do treat that trade and they get LaMelo or whatever. You get a 6'7" point guard who can score the ball. Okay, and then you can have Embiid. Embiid doesn't have to necessarily always score. Embiid can do other things. He's a center, so he plays off the ball. You have a point guard. If you have a point guard, let me go back to what Joe said about the point guards. You can't win if your best player is a point guard. I'm gonna say that right now. Like for like a chance, unless he has like good pieces, like the best player on the team cannot be the point guard, and you will not win. Exception I'll say is like I hate to say that, but like that's the truth. Magic Johnson, it was Kareem. He had Kareem. You see what I'm saying? Like, look at the Warriors. The only reason why the Warriors won that one time is because Kyrie and Kevin Love were out for the Cavaliers. When they came back, they beat the Warriors that second year. And then they went and got KD, and that's why they were able to be good, because he got some help. A guard, if it's two guards, if your players are the two best players are guards, you're not gonna win. Look at the Blazers. Look at the Wizards when they have John Wall and Bradley Beal. They're good players, but if you don't have like a center that can do work, it's not gonna work. I don't care who you have.
I agree with that, but I feel like Steph and Clay did it.
They did it because they got hurt, and then whenever they came, they got Kevin Durant. That's why.
Before KD, they didn't want one. I mean, you could say it's because they got hurt, but that's not me in sports. I don't really use that as an excuse. I feel like almost every team in pro sports gets players injured every year. The best teams are the ones that overcome it. I don't like the Warriors at all, but they deserve that ring. They did. And the Splash Brothers were the Splash Brothers, and Draymond's, even though you guys think he's overrated, his defense, it's a reason they won it. I feel like that's just undeniable. You guys can deny it, but Steph and Clay were the best players of the team that won the finals. Say whatever you will about it's because they were hurt.
That's not. I'm not saying that, but when the two of the three best players on the other team are hurt, including the guy that guards them, and your big man, because they could have matched up with LeBron at least 1-on-1. Happened the next year. I mean, that the proof is in the pudding there.
Like, and even if you do say that, even if you do say that, okay, who else? You can't. There's nobody. Like, you can't think of nobody else that did it by like a point guard. Did it by themselves as the main player of the star player of their team. Derrick Rose can do it. He had help. He had some help, but he didn't get it done. Like, nobody could get it done. Westbrook can do it.
That's
he
true.
had Paul George, still didn't do it.
Get you back on Twitter, but I mean, I thought Magic was the best player in the playoffs. I've looked up the numbers. I mean, Kareem was the best player of the regular Lakers.
Watching that team in person, I'm the only one old enough to say that Kareem was Magic had the flair, Magic had the press, but Kareem was the straw that stirred the drink. Kareem was unstoppable. And even except in Magic's rookie year, but Kareem was that guy. So Isaiah, I know you've been wanting to jump in. Go ahead, brother.
No. I'm not really big on hypotheticals. So when you guys start talking about potential trades and this and that, I don't really get into that. But then when you guys talked about who would you rather trade between Embiid and Simmons? I think I would rather trade Simmons, honestly. And then I was agreeing with everything you guys are saying pretty much, but it's just the thing you said about the point guard being the best player, not being able to get the job done. You guys are exactly right, and I think the best example of that is Allen Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because he was the best player, the coldest dude, but really, who else did he have to help him out? You know what I mean? So, I mean, the best thing.
If you're under 6'4", you can't do it by yourself. You need some help down in front court.
The best they did to help him out was get an old Dikembe Mutombo, but Shaq was just dunking all over his ass. So, I mean, I agree with you guys. That's when he was talking about the Warriors. That's where I was like, all right, like that's too much, man. Because you're right, they get that one championship. Curry was the best player on that team. Curry and Clay, they're doing it, but I'll give them that one championship. So I'll give you that one, Kyle. If they get that one, I know they lost their two other good players, and that's how they're able to win 2015. But the rest of their championships, that's because they had KD as well. So I mean, I don't give them those ones. But that's all I had to say. When he was talking about the Warriors, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm done with the whole Warriors dynasty talk because KD is the reason why they win those championships. So that's all I wanted to say. Like, that's all I wanted to say about that. Like, they only win those championships. They're only a dynasty because of KD. I'm just tired of all the Warrior talk, man. I'm so glad they suck again, and they're not going to be back. They might have the second pick in the draft, but they're never going to be back. And you know why? Because it doesn't matter who they get. It doesn't matter who they get on that team, whoever they draft.
Your bench is full of G leaguers.
Their role players are done. Sean Livingston's retired. Iguodala's in Miami. All those key role players that helped their bench, and their motto is strength in numbers. All those guys are gone. So they could say all they want. No, people are counting us out. We will be back. No, they're not coming back. Their run's over. So fuck
the
them.
Warriors. The Warriors are really like the Pistons that beat the Lakers. Like, it was like a one-time thing. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so they had a little window. They had a little window.
Yeah,
like players and some players are just transcendent. And Curry, to his credit, changed the way the NBA is played, and has changed it. Not everybody has a guy like Steph Curry. Jordan not changed the way the game is played. Not everybody had a Shaquille O'Neal in his prime. The Lakers did, and you've seen what Shaq had. What Shaq did. Kobe was that guy as well. And over the weekend, and it was Kobe's birthday on Sunday, the 23rd. He would have been 42. The Dodgers came out again in their series against the Rockies, and they wore Kobe jerseys.
Kobe jerseys. Yep, it was awesome, man.
It was Kobe loved the Dodgers. He would go to many Dodger games, and I was extremely, I was touched by that. What did you guys think about how the Dodgers pay?
If I may, the best thing about that, as far as the pregame ceremonies went, was having a video narrated by Vince Scully.
Yes,
talking about Kobe. They said they're just gonna do a little something for him. And I really wasn't sure what it was gonna be, what they were gonna do, or what they can do. Just because of obviously like the virus and everything. But for them to wear jerseys, it was pretty awesome. But when you have the great Vince Scully narrate a video, it doesn't matter what you're doing. When you hear that voice, you're listening. You're hooked. You're paying attention to it, and it was an awesome video. For them to hit, I'm gonna be like LeBron or D Wade. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. For them to hit 7 home runs, crazy, man. That shit was wild.
And Mookie hitting 2 after he talked to Kobe about a month before he passed away, and Kobe's last words were, "Okay, I'll see you in Los Angeles." Mm-hmm. That was big.
Yeah, man. Enrique Hernandez hitting a home run, doing a little Kobe at the when he hit home plate. It was awesome, man. I was super happy that they decided to do something still to honor him, even even though it's been several months already, but it was awesome, man. Great job by them, and then to just ball out on the field afterwards too. That was sweet. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. That's why I wanted to talk about that in this podcast too. I mean, Dodgers are not basketball, but they're LA, and those it's connected, man. It was great. It was awesome.
I loved it.
Yeah, not much to add to that. Isaiah nailed it. It was just beautiful, and of course the tribute's always there, so they didn't have to. But the fact that they did that well, it's like I don't know if the game was in LA or not, but Kobe's spirit was there everywhere, man. The
it was in
Dodgers, who
LA.
he loved, then it was makes perfect sense. Then the Lakers, that one's not in LA, obviously, but the Lakers blowing out the Blazers. It's all these tributes to Kobe and all these wins. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I agree with you all. When you have somebody like Kobe Bryant who passes, like it shook the whole world. So it was nice to see, especially with all this stuff going on in the world right now and everything that's happening, that on these days people came together, and that's amazing for one person, that's amazing. That shows that it can be done. Something can in this world what's going on. Something can be done. It can be fixed. We can unify. There's a way to get it. There's a way it can happen. So, and that's what that reminded me of. Honestly, of course, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, but that also shows that we can fix our problems. We just have to find a way to get it done.
So Kobe was just built different. Everybody whose live that he came in to play, personally, he's touched. He impacted them greatly. He impacted not just basketball, but the entire sports landscape and universe. And I think it goes to show not just what the Dodgers did and how they honored him, but also the entire NBA and the commercial Nike put out for his birthday. And you see everybody from all the sports, including the WNBA. That was a hell of a commercial. It brought a tear to my eye. Every time I see it, it gets me choked up. Maybe because I'm super emotional lately, but I think it's a good sign that you're right, Mike. If one person can make a difference. Let's get into Final Fantasy. Oh, go ahead, Zay.
I'll just say real quick. I mean, they, to talk about that Nike commercial too, they did a great job. I know me and you talked about this a long time ago, but Kendrick Lamar, man, in my opinion, he's the best. He's the best in the game, and I'm a little biased probably because I'm another LA person too. But when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be the best of all time. So every time Kendrick jumps on something, it's just he doesn't miss, man. That dude's fire. Everything he spits is hard. For him to jump on that commercial and narrate that, it's one of the things. It's one of his skills that makes him who he is. One of the best. He's good at changing his voices, bringing different tones, from light to super aggressive. So for him to narrate that commercial, it brought it to another level as well. That's all I was going to say about that.
Don't disagree. Let's get to Final Fantasy, and I think this is kind of presumptive. Comparing teams, this current Laker team versus the 2015-2016 championship Cavaliers team that LeBron led, broke the curse of Cleveland. You guys, Kyle, what made you guys pick this, and go ahead and do the breakdown?
So what ultimately convinced me to do this one was because LeBron James. We haven't done a LeBron versus LeBron series in this. We've done a Kobe versus Kobe. We've done a different Laker team versus different Laker team. But the best player on the Lakers right now is LeBron James. So what better than put him up against himself? So for this one too, what ultimately made me choose this as well is it's heavily debatable, in my opinion. That's the biggest reason I chose this. LeBron versus LeBron's cool, of course, but it's heavily debatable. It took me a while to really decide my pick, and I feel like you guys are probably going to make me switch and convince me otherwise.
He's taking Cleveland.
Actually, no. I did not. I broke it down as best as I could. I feel like even though the old LeBron is probably a bit faster, this current LeBron shoots better threes, averages the same amount of points, but then has more assists. So it's not just because of stats, but it shows, like, even though he did get a little slower, if even, that doesn't even look noticeable, he improved his three-point percentage by at least 3%. So he'll keep up with that. That's an even matchup. And AD and Kevin Love, I feel like the AD Kevin Love, because this Kevin Love wasn't as great as he was. He wasn't elite like Anthony Davis is, one of the best in the league. And even though they did have Kyrie to do it, if it doesn't matter, I say Lakers either way, but if we put Avery Bradley here, I feel like he could hold Kyrie down better than Kevin Love could hold AD down. And also, even though they are different positions, because it'd be Danny Green at the shooting guard, I say KCP is better than 2015-16 J.R. Smith. He shot a better percentage, and he was a better defender by miles. And that's come from me, and I'm not the highest on KCP. I think he shoots too much, but, you know, he's more consistent as well. He is inconsistent, but more consistent than 2015-16 JR, shot a better percentage, way better defender. AD's a great defender. LeBron's, it's just too much defense. It is. And at center, I say Tristan Thompson's, he puts up the same numbers. I'd say he's literally even with Dwight and JaVale, but in the end, those are two very productive centers playing the minutes, while the Cavaliers backups, they didn't really have a lot of depth. They didn't even have Korver at that time too. So, you know, Dwight and JaVale, I say they beat Tristan Thompson. They're even players, but, you know, it's 2-on-1 there. They split in the minutes. And Richard Jefferson was great off the bench too, but, you know, Kyle Kuzma's just as good, if not better. Markieff Morris is a great defender. Just too much defense and too much depth on this Laker team, in my opinion. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you for once on these things, Kyle. Looking at the Cavaliers, they just don't have any depth like on their roster. Delly had to step up. Matthew Dellavedova. I remember I was seeing stuff on Instagram talking about prime Matthew Dellavedova, like he was good or something like that. Like, no, like you, like I can't even talk about it. It's so stupid. Like, by far the Lakers, it's the Lakers. Like the Cavaliers, they just don't have enough depth. I think, like you said, the Lakers can clamp down. The Lakers have the best front court in the league. Like I say this damn near every show. So looking at the front court wise, Channing Frye, like really, like Channing Frye, Anderson Varejao, like hell no. No wonder it took them 7 games to beat the Warriors. But with that being said, it had to be the Lakers. And honestly, if you think about it, I think the Lakers would have beat that Warriors team in 5 games. This Lakers team could beat that Warriors team.
Another Final Fantasy. What you guys say, Isaiah?
Yeah, man, I gotta go with the Lake. I usually don't like. I would go rather like I would wait until the season ended to see where the Lakers end up, but no, I got after looking at Cleveland's roster, because I had to like kind of refresh my memory. The depth on this roster is just not that great, so I definitely got to go. I remember looking at these names, I'm like, oh shit, like
Mo Williams.
I know like Bron carried the I know Bron carried him, but I kind of forgot how bad he carried him. You know what I mean?
You saw what LeBron James and Kyrie had to do.
Yeah,
Game 7 to win that Game 7, how bad their depth was, what Big Mike said, it's crazy.
Yeah, actually, the Lakers easily win in my opinion.
Timothy Mozgov.
I do like what you said about the Warriors, though. Maybe we could talk about that one next week, perhaps. But yeah, I go with the Lakers for sure in this one. I mean, we have yet to see what the highest potential they could reach, obviously, but I I think the Lakers' depth is too much in this one. Good point about Avery Bradley on Kyrie though. That really sold something for me too. So I'm going Lakers. I'm going Lakers.
It's only the point guard and Kyrie and Danny Green. JR put up better stats than Danny Green, but that doesn't take into account defense. Those are the only two things the Cavs have.
Well, I think the Lakers win. Okay. But
You acting like Joe. I really thought you was about to say the Cavs because of how you sit and look at the camera.
no.
Doing us like mad faces. I'm like, oh,
No.
did we say something wrong?
Look,
I knew you were saying the Lakers. I felt like you made that face more of a like. Are we really talking about this right now? I feel like that was the face
kind of.
Because that's how I feel. That's how I feel too.
But I think in a way you guys are really, really underselling the importance of Kyrie Irving. Kyrie is one of the few point guards that can. I mean, he's almost unguardable. Like, really, he's a guy that when his mind is right and when he's healthy, and when his mind is right and he's unhealthy, but he still can play because his mind's right. He is a guy that good luck stopping him. He could be the best point guard in the NBA, and I say could be. I don't, he's injured too much for me.
Yeah.
But you've seen what he did in big shots and in big moments. The moment's never too big for him. And I think he would take it personal that, I'm going against this team, a team where a guy who I idolized played for. He's going to play with a different type of motivation, being that how he looked at Kobe and how they had a friendship. So before I say it's going to be easy, it could be 5 or look, I agree the Lakers would win. Don't get me wrong, but don't undersell or overlook the importance of a motivated and healthy Kyrie Irving. That's all I was going to say.
It's far from a blowout. It really is. Just because, they...
Go ahead.
Sorry, go.
No,
I don't have much to guard him.
That's true. And I mean, Avery Bradley, I've seen get torched by other guards that aren't as, good as Kyrie this year. We applaud what he does because he's the best of what we have as Laker fans, but maybe that's a little bit above average, not elite. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, I think it may be a little bit of overestimating and overselling Avery Bradley and overlooking and underselling the importance of Kyrie.
It'd be a close series, because LeBron, even though I did say his 3-point percentage went higher than old LeBron, even though he lost a bit of speed, it's not like he's a consistent if his 3-point game's off, Kyrie and old LeBron are doing their thing, then they win the game. There's no way they don't. So I'd say like 6-7 games in this one.
I'd say 6. But yeah, I like when we do teams that won titles before we go to teams that haven't finished their season and haven't won the title, because we know we're going champion to champion versus champion to a team that could be like 73-9 and they lied. You know what I mean?
That's what the reason I chose the Lakers is just because
we're a Lakers show.
That I didn't have a choice, and to make it LeBron versus LeBron, I thought that'd be a cool concept.
But here's the thing.
Even though they didn't win the championship yet, it's like I thought that was the thing that was going to give the Cavs the edge to one of you guys to actually say the Cavs. Like I thought looking at the players would be common sense, but it's like because that's what my brother actually said. I hit him up. He's like, it doesn't matter, Kyle. That team won a championship. I don't care about the numbers or what happens. I was like, what if the Lakers do? Then what do you say? He's like, it doesn't matter. They don't got a Kyrie Irving. They're not, and I'm not saying I agree with him. They're like, they don't got someone to be clutch. LeBron's not clutch, even though he is. But that's my brother for you. But yeah, he said that team won a championship, and the Cavs had Kyrie, who nailed in the fourth quarter, and the Lakers are inconsistent shooters. I wouldn't. So I thought one of y'all would say that or something, but that's why I chose a team that didn't win a championship yet, because I was thinking it'd make it more unpredictable and switch somebody's opinion, but it really didn't.
I definitely thought about it a little bit, but then when I looked at the roster, that's when I decided, like, I gotta go with the Lakers just because the depth of that Cleveland roster is not good at all.
We do Warriors next week.
That's a little tough. It's a little tough.
Well,
But what you said about dang, never mind, I forgot already.
Well, Kyrie, was it about not winning a championship? Was it about
I'm trying to remember.
your boy
I'm slow
Timothy
sometimes.
Mozgov?
No, he's sorry. But anyway, I don't know. It just left my head. I was gonna say some. Oh yeah, about LeBron being clutch. He can be clutch, but I don't know.
He can
I
be.
think he
agree
can
with
be, bro. He
I
can
agree with
be.
you. He can.
It depends
be,
on the
not.
situation. It depends on the situation.
I
And
agree
plus,
with you.
and what I consider being clutch is not just making the game-winning shot, or not just in like the last minute of play. Like I consider like the last 5 minutes, what he does leading up to the end of the game as clutch. And when you look at it like that, then yeah, he's clutch. When it comes to the final shot, he might not necessarily make it all the time if he takes it. So I mean, it depends on how you look at it. It depends on how you define the word clutch and when clutchness starts to take. When does the clutch start?
LeBron, I'm gonna talk to you, friend to friend, bro. Look, you want to be known as a clutch ball player. You really want to be mentioned in the greatest of all time debate. Hit your damn free throws and hit them in clutch situations. That will start to distance yourself from everything. Until you do that, the debate will always be there.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters.
Oh, hell
right
yeah,
now?
hell yeah, it matters.
No. Like I don't think it matters now because his career is all like he's pretty much it's like he didn't already went through the majority of his career. So like even if he does make his free throws and stuff now, they're still gonna hold that against him because it was looking at his career as a whole. It's not like he has a lot of time to change it.
He hits free throws, ups his percentage to 80, and then wins 2 more rings. It definitely helps.
Well, I guess when you put it like that, but I don't know.
I know what you're saying though.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like you got to hit that. That's why in a discussion, and we're gonna end this in the next 3 minutes. But in a discussion with my son Peanut and my ex brother-in-law and my nephews, my Peanut asked me, "Dad, like who's the greatest?" And I thought it was Jordan. And he was like, "No way, it's LeBron." And he gave his reasons. My brother-in-law, who played college ball, said, "Look, LeBron may make the right basketball decision, but the thing is you cannot be the greatest of all time if you cannot go to the free throw line and knock down clutch free throws in the biggest games. You pass the ball away to other people, so they're the ones to do it because you're scared to go to the line and shoot those shots." My brother-in-law is one of the biggest Laker fans I ever met in my life. And for him to say that, it got me to think about it, and he's right. He's right. Hell, I look at Kobe, knocked down 2 free throws against the Warriors with the torn Achilles.
That's how it is. If the best player on a team is on the line in a playoff situation and his fans are scared, that's a problem. Simple as that. And this is kind of off topic, but that's a huge knock at Giannis as well. It's early in his career. He could do it. But if he on the line, games on the line, big situation, and his fans are scared rather than we won, that's the problem. That's free throws, big part of the game.
That's valid. Well, guys, that's it for this week. I want to thank everybody for joining 70213 Lakers podcast live on franchisesportsmedia.com and our Franchise Sports Media YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook live pages. We enjoyed discussing stuff with you guys. You go ahead and find Kyle. Go ahead and give out your Twitter handle, bro.
Kyle Randolph FSM, capital KR on Twitter, all lowercase Instagram, and FSM capitalized too.
Okay, Isaiah.
Yeah, Twitter handle is Isaiah_Torres 24.
And Mike, I think yours is right there, huh?
Yeah, mine is on the screen. Dancy II. My Instagram mdii.visuals and Dancy 2.0. Both my Instagram. One my writing Instagram, the other was my graphic design Instagram. Damn, yeah, man. Hit me up on either one.
Yeah, man, we got you special. Got 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't want to mix it up. I mean, I should just make one, but it's like I have two, so it's like, what's the point? What's the point of trying to?
Nah,
I
got
respect it.
Big time, big time. Guys, thanks for joining us. We want to invite you to check out FSM After Dark every night, Monday through Friday, 9:15 is the start time. It's an uncensored and raw look at the world on sports. Also, Thursdays, 11 a.m. this week, we're going live, the Franchise Podcast, myself, TQ, and Ishan Zaragoza, and we're bringing you topics of sports. And believe me, Lakers, Dodgers are both going to be up for discussion this week. I'm Joe Arrigo, Twitter handle right there. All my handles are the same. My name. Do not get at me on Instagram. I won't add you if I don't know you. That's private. I'm not like Mike. I don't got to. So with that being said, guys, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you guys for stopping in. This has been the FSM Presents 70213 Laker podcast on franchisesportsmedia.com. Hey, arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor.
For real though.
All right.